Hi, I'm Jay Renfro. I'm the founder and executive director of Tennessee Nature Academy. I'm recording this video because we are making a really big decision, and this impacts your community. And honestly, we want your feedback and your help in making this decision. So somewhere down below in YouTube, there's a link to a survey. The survey has some fun questions, like what are some features that you hope that we could incorporate into our campus? And it has some time-sensitive questions. More specifically, which driveway option do you think is the best for us to pursue? That's the main item of deliberation and the main purpose for this video. There are a lot of aspects about our project that we're not going to touch and we're not going to cover in this video right here. So before we get started, let me name a few things. First, this is really, really exciting for a lot of us. This school, Tennessee Nature Academy, has been an absolute dream these past 2 years. We serve some of the most vulnerable students in the city who have, for the first time, found a school that they're excited about, they're successful at. We serve some of the brightest kids in the city who have just been able to do some extraordinary things. I think we're a really great fit for Carothers Farms. I know our presence is going to impact the community greatly, and we don't take that lightly. But we hope that you give us a chance and that you help us make the right decision here. Okay. Next thing is that today for me is Monday, April 28th. So I'm going off of what information I would have at this moment. There are a lot of conversations being had. One about the possibility of some kind of connection or access to the parks. We don't have clarity on that at this exact moment. So I'm leaving that aspect of the conversation out of this presentation so that we can make the best decision with the cards that we have right now. I'm not saying that I'm dismissing that idea. I know there are a lot of aspects of this, traffic calming, etc. What I want to focus on is what's the approved driveway right now and how it's different from the driveway that we are proposing in our UDO modification that's up before the Planning Commission. So let's take a look. Yes. Okay. This right here is the site plan that was approved back in, I think it was 2007. Its attention to detail is almost comical. First thing you'll notice is where the school is situated. It's in the middle of the wetland. Secondly, it's on some terrain. Each of those lines is a drop in elevation. And so not where you would actually put a building. The road itself follows suit with that. Coming off of Clement is possibly the largest drop in elevation down to the creek. It goes through quite a large stand of tall, mature trees, goes to wetland. This road is existing in what's a required riparian buffer, so the road can't be there. And then it crosses back a wetland a second time, goes back uphill. And so, yeah, a cut-through road in a school does not pass current security standards. So that is what we could do right now. We think this is a bad option. And so we've proposed a different option. We have submitted a plan that puts our entrance on Fairchild Circle. And so you'll see how this is different. Now, I will say this picture is outdated. We had a community meeting on March 3rd or 4th. And so we actually shifted it down towards that corner just a little bit because there was concerns about large like buses and delivery trucks making that turn. That was some good feedback that we put into our plan. So to show you the difference is really only coming off of Fairchild, or do we stick with what we have and come off of Clement or Clement? So functionally, I want to show you how these are different. I think the Fairchild option is better for 3 reasons. Environmentally, I think it's better. Aesthetically, I think it's better for the community. And third, financially, it is the cheaper option, which I don't expect you to care about. But if we are talking about future park connections going through Clement, we just won't be able to make any connections to the park. Okay, so there used to be a way to draw and I don't know how to do that anymore. But here's our traffic pattern, because this is the most important thing that we've heard. So again, to say this is not a discussion of should the school exist or not. The plan was always to have a school in the community. Any school would bring any amount of traffic. We recognize that. We're not dismissive of that fact. We're trying to be solution oriented. Coming down Carothers, you would take a left onto Clement. If the entrance were to remain the same, you would continue onto our campus. And then as you leave, cars would either come back down Clement onto Carothers Road, but most likely they would go down Winding Creek, down Fairchild, and then hit Carothers Road. Were we to change and put it on Fairchild, the traffic pattern remains virtually the same with one minor adjustment. They would come down Carothers. It would still turn a left on Clement. There's going to be a left-hand turn lane. And I know that there are some things in the road right now. That's another conversation. Turn left on Clement. Instead of entering on Clement, it would turn left on Winding Creek, then take a right onto Fairchild, where they would enter, and then to exit, it would be a straight shot down Fairchild, then onto Carothers. So I will acknowledge that is very different for the 6 homeowners that live right there on Fairchild Circle. And again, I'm not dismissive of that. Environmentally, I think this option is better. If you look, I am going to find a way. Oh, is that how you draw? There it is. So here is the entrance on Fairchild versus the entrance here on Clement. And I need to use a better color. I'm going to use red. So here's the entrance on Fairchild versus the entrance on Clement. So environmentally, hands down, Clement requires us to clear more trees. To make this drop in elevation, they actually said we would have to have about 130 feet. And I don't know exactly, this is an estimate. 130 feet. And we're bringing in a lot of fill, a lot of earth, because we're not going to take that straight down. It's going to have to be more of a gradual incline. So far more dirt, far more trees cleared, because you can't just clear the road. There's a road and the sidewalk and enough room for these construction vehicles. So this is significantly more trees to be knocked down, more disturbance to this wetland versus this right here. Now, we don't need 130 feet for that because we're not bringing in all of that fill. Also, there's already a stream crossing right there, an old service road entered in from that way. So we're not clearing as many trees. We're not impacting the wetlands as much. Aesthetically, this farm pavilion barn has a wonderful backdrop of trees right now. Clearing those, your line of sight would be directly into our parking lot and to the side of our building, which we think is a very permanent and dramatic change in aesthetic for the community. And then thirdly, like we said, financially, because of the amount of site work that's required to get the Clement entrance to work, that leaves us in a situation where we just can't explore the possibility of other options like a connection to the park in any shape, vehicular or pedestrian. So that's essentially our deliberation boiled down. We can move forward with Clement, which we think is a bad and very permanent decision, or we could pursue the Fairchild option, which we also acknowledge impacts these folks right here the most. So we're not making this decision lightly. We are asking you to weigh in because as a community, you do deserve to have a voice. We are planning to present effectively this exact same presentation tomorrow at a community meeting, and we're hoping for some discussion. If you do want to reach out, I'm going to find a way to put my contact information. We are really, really excited to be a part of this community and look forward to finding a path forward together. Thank you. And please fill out that survey.